Explore Washington's top 10 cities facing crime, poverty, and homeless crisis. 10. Kent. According to the 2023 point-in-time count, 11,751 people were experiencing homelessness in Kent City, representing a 5% increase from 2022. While Seattle often takes center stage regarding homelessness, Kent and other cities within King County also grapple with the issue. 14.3% of Kent residents live in poverty, translating to roughly 18,600 individuals out of the city's 133,000 population. The white population makes up the most significant demographic living in poverty, followed by Hispanic and Black communities. Kent's child poverty rate is estimated to be around 23% higher than the Seattle-Tacoma-Bellevue metro area. 9. Pasco. Pasco's poverty rate sits at 17.43%, exceeding the national average of 12.6%. This means that roughly 1 in 6 individuals in the city live below the federal poverty line. The Native American population in Pasco bears the brunt of poverty, with 35.32% living below the poverty line. In contrast, Asians have the lowest rate, at 1.52%. Women, particularly between the ages of 25 to 34, are more likely to experience poverty than men. According to the 2022 point-in-time count conducted by the Washington State Department of Commerce, Pasco identified 6,372 homeless individuals, a 35% increase from 2021. Pasco's overall crime rate is 35.1% higher than the national average. This means that on any given day, there are about 11.87 crimes reported, with 4.7 of those being violent crimes, and 7.18 being property crimes. Compared to other cities in Washington, Pasco's crime rate is higher than 77% of communities. 8. Vancouver. Homelessness in Vancouver is a complex and challenging issue with no easy solutions. While the exact number fluctuates, it's estimated that over 8,500 people are currently living unsheltered in the city. And the overall number experiencing homelessness in Clark County is around 19,972. This represents a significant increase in recent years, particularly among unsheltered individuals. Vancouver paints a contrasting picture when it comes to poverty. While its overall poverty rate of 14.7%, 1 in 7 residents struggle with poverty, affecting approximately 27,600 individuals out of Vancouver's population of 186,000. White residents constitute the majority of the population living below the poverty line, followed by Hispanic. 7. Yakima. The poverty rate in Yakima County is higher than both the state and national averages. In 2022, 21.8% of the county's residents lived below the poverty line. Children under 18 bear the brunt, with a poverty rate exceeding 27%. Hispanic residents are disproportionately affected, with a poverty rate of 22.6% compared to 12.2% for white residents. Yakima estimates nearly 7,500 residents experience homelessness, a 15% increase from 2022. However, experts acknowledge this is likely an undercount due to the nature of unsheltered populations. In 2022, nearly a third, 33% of homeless households in Yakima County were unsheltered, meaning they lived outside, in vehicles, or in abandoned buildings. Yakima's overall crime rate is 62% higher than the national average, and 82% higher than the state average. The city experiences roughly 13.9 crimes per day, with about 4.61 violent crimes and 8.29 property crimes per 1,000 residents. 6. Olympia. Olympia's overall crime rate, at 6,725 per 100,000 residents, exceeds the national average by 103%. This translates to roughly 11.28 daily crimes in the city. Over 93% of communities within the Washington state have lower crime rates than Olympia. Violent crime rates are higher than the national average by 71%, with 1,221 incidents per 100,000 residents. However, the chance of being a victim is 1 in 80. Olympia, the capital of Washington, grapples with a poverty rate exceeding the national average. 16% of its population live below the poverty line. This translates to 1 in 6 residents struggling to meet basic needs. White residents constitute the largest group living 20.5. Bellingham. Over 10,059 individuals were counted as homeless in Bellingham during the 2023 point-in-time count, a 27% increase from 2022 and the highest number ever recorded since the count began in 2008. Families with children are disproportionately affected, with an average of 1,288 homeless households counted over the past 3 years. The poverty rate in Bellingham is higher than the state average. 19.7% of Bellingham residents live below the poverty line, exceeding the national average of 12.6%. This translates to roughly 20,900 individuals facing financial hardship. White residents have the highest poverty rate, followed by Hispanic. According to Area Vibes, Bellingham's overall crime rate is 198% higher than the national average. This translates to 8,119 crimes per 100,000 residents, compared to the national average of 4. Everett. The 2023 Snohomish County point-in-time count identified 12,289 individuals experiencing homelessness in Everett, representing roughly 65% of the county's homeless population. This number reflects an 8.5% increase from the 2022 count, highlighting a growing trend in recent years. According to the latest estimates from the United States Census Bureau, 16.1% of Everett residents live below the poverty line. This translates to roughly 19,500 individuals struggling to make ends meet. White residents make up the largest group living in poverty, followed by Hispanics and multiracial individuals. Everett's overall crime rate is 106.24% higher than the national average. This translates to roughly 5,793 crimes per 100,000 residents. Within Washington, over 89% of communities have lower crime rates than Everett. Property crime, such as theft, burglary, and vandalism, is more prevalent in Everett, with a rate of 34 per 1,000. 3. Tacoma. Tacoma's total crime rate is significantly higher than the national average, exceeding it by over 336%. This translates to a rate of 10,149 crimes per 100,000 residents, making it one of the highest in the United States. The chance of becoming a victim of any crime in Tacoma is roughly 1 in 10. The 2022 point-in-time count conducted in Tacoma identified 12,851 individuals experiencing homelessness. However, officials estimate the actual number to be closer to 17,300, highlighting the challenges of accurately capturing the full scope of the issue. 38% of individuals experiencing homelessness are female. 2. Spokane. The most recent point-in-time count, conducted in January 2023, found 16,390 people experiencing homelessness in Spokane, a 36% increase compared to 2022, and a staggering 100% increase since 2013. This translates to roughly 9 out of every 1,000 residents in Spokane County experiencing homelessness. Spokane grapples with a poverty rate that sits above the national average. Data from the United States Census Bureau reveals that 19.8% of Spokane's residents live below the poverty line. Poverty rates vary across Spokane, with certain neighborhoods facing a significantly higher burden than others. The East Central neighborhood, for example, has a poverty rate exceeding 38%, while the West Hills have a rate below 5%. 1. Seattle. Seattle is a city of immense wealth and vibrant tech culture. Yet, beneath the gleaming skyscrapers and trendy cafes lies a persistent struggle with poverty, homelessness, and crime. The most recent count, conducted in January 2023, found 48,036 people experiencing homelessness in Seattle, a 10% increase from 2022. Of the total homeless population, 47% were unsheltered, living on the streets, in parks, or in other unsanctioned locations. As of 2022, Seattle's official poverty rate sits at 15.1%, according to the United States Census Bureau. This means that roughly 1 in 9 residents fall below the federal poverty line, which varies based on family size and composition. Child poverty is also a concern, with 19.4% of Seattle children living below the poverty line. Compared to the national average, Seattle's overall crime rate is higher,